Hello and welcome to Nirmal Bang, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hiral Dadia. We have with us Dr. Prakash, Managing Director, Mr. Anand Roy, Managing Director, along with Mr. Nilesh Kamlil, Chief Financial Officer at Star Health and Allied, joining in. Welcome to the show, gentlemen, and a pleasure to speak to you. And congratulations once again for this milestone that the company and the team has achieved.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So to start off with, firstly, if you could just run us through the details of the IPO, how much funds are we looking to raise, what's the anchor book looking like, etc.
Maybe I will ask my CFO to start with. Okay.
Yeah. So we are raising 7,249.18 crores, out of which 2,000 crores is fresh issue and offer for sale is 5,249 crores. 75% will be the QIB book, 15% will be HNI book, and 10% will be retail book. And the anchor book will be 60% of the 75%, roughly 3,200 crores of anchor book. The issue will open up for public on 30th November and the issue closes on 2nd of December. And the listing date is 10th December 2021.
Right. With this, what has been the idea with regards to getting an IPO listing? Because, there was a phase where you didn't really see a lot of insurance companies listed. But last 3 to 5 years, you've seen a plethora, and I think majority of them have got onto this journey of becoming public. So what was the thought for a company like yours to get public?
See, I can only say that listing, as you all know, it leads to better governance and disclosures. And it is going to be a publicly held fund with multiple investors. And our customers can become our investors. So that's a great value addition which we are trying to create. So the retail investors can get the benefits of the growth of this organization. And it is also going to have a very strong board, and things are going to be more board driven. And institutions can continue and create a legacy once they are listed, because they win the trust and confidence of the public. And once listed, it is an entity in perpetuity. And that's what we look forward to in Star.
Right. So overall, I think 7,250 odd crores is what we are looking to raise, out of which there is around 5,249 crores, which is in terms of an OFS, and the remainder will be a fresh issue. So in terms of I do understand there are a lot of investors who will be exiting some portion of their investments as well out of the OFS. But in terms of the fresh issue, what is the usage of funds going to look like?
Nilesh?
Yeah. So basically, insurance company, the solvency is factor based. So as we keep on growing the premiums, it needs capital for growth of business. So this 2,000 crores will be used basically to grow the company further. And that's the use of, this fresh capital that will be raised.
Okay. And if you have to see in terms of where the portfolio goes, especially if you're talking about health insurance as a whole, what's the kind of market share that we currently hold? Because I know we are one of the largest private health insurance companies in India, and there is good amount of leadership that we hold as well. So what's the kind of market share we have?
So we have close to 15.8% market share in the overall health insurance business, counting all the players, that is a public sector companies, the private sector GI companies, and the standalone health insurers. Within this, we are more focused on the retail segment, and in the retail business, we have more than 31% market share, which is the largest in the business, and we are 3 times larger than the next largest player in the retail health insurance market share.
Right. So what would be the expansion plans on the non-retail front then? Are we going to put our focus there, or our focus will continue to remain on retail?
No, our focus will primarily be on a retail growth agenda. We are a retail focused company, and we have more than 500,000 agents across the country who are distributing our products. Plus, we do have other partners like banks and online distributors. So focus will be on retail business, because we believe that the opportunity that retail provides is tremendous. India has one of the lowest penetration of health insurance in the entire world. And I think there is a major growth opportunity here, and Star Health is very well poised to capture that opportunity. As far as the other lines of business is concerned, which is the corporate business, we are definitely active in that. We have more than 10% of our GWP coming from the corporate side, but we are more focused on the small and medium enterprises, because being a standalone health insurer, the large corporate business is not viable for us. So we are very selective in that market. As and when the market improves, we will definitely be a major player even in that segment.
Right. So if you have to divide it, say, between retail, group, personal accident, and overseas travel, I understand majority of it in terms of the revenues and profitability for our company would come in from retail health. How does that segregation work right now? And do we see the mix changing going ahead?
See, retail and personal accident are usually profitable. And government business, we are very choosy about it. And group business, as Anand was pointing out, the competition usually drives away profit in group. But still, we don't want to leave behind that segment. We want to be choosy on that. And retail, as it has been discussed, it is our DNA. We want to focus more on retail. So currently, the proposition is around close to 86% retail, 12% group business, and 2 to 3% PA, personal accident. So OMP, we do very less on OMP. Over a period of time, we almost want to maintain this proportion. We want to be a very dominant player in the retail industry, but at the same time, we want to have our presence in all other pockets of business.
Right. And in terms of geographies as well, how well spread are we?
Oh, we are a pan-India company. We are very well spread across the length and breadth of the country. As I mentioned earlier, we have close to 780 branch offices and more than 500 plus sales manager station. These are one-man offices where we have attached to our branches in the smaller towns and villages. Business comes from all across the country. South contributes, I think, around 35%, West contributes around 25%, North contributes around 20%, and the balance comes from East. So it's a pan-India operation, and we are actually the market leader in most of the states in the country as far as retail health insurance is concerned.
Right. And clearly, if you see in terms of where the business strategy goes, how is it different from the other companies which are into existence in the same space?
See, the difference on the procurement, on the products and innovation, and on the servicing. On all three areas, we have cut the difference. That's the reason why Star Health Insurance today, although we don't have any big strategic distribution partner with us, we are not part of any hospital or banker group, but still we are having a dominant market share. Is because of our sheer professionalism and the uniqueness that we have created. See, on the product front, we are one company which has most of the unique features first to introduce. Like first to introduce a cover for people above 60 years up to 75 years. We are the first to introduce a cover from day one for a diabetic, irrespective of the number of years of diabetes or whatever may be his blood sugar or HbA1c levels. Still, we are giving them day one cover. In the same way, people with the heart disease, although they have been diagnosed with the heart disease and they have undergone bypass surgery or stent placement, still the industry was not willing to offer cover for them. But we are the first to introduce a cover for people diagnosed with heart disease. And most important, people with cancer. There is no other company in this part of the globe trying to cover people who are already diagnosed with cancer. So we have a policy for people diagnosed with cancer, which can take care of the treatment related to cancer and also general treatment like any other medical policy, non-cancer related treatment also are covered. So like this, we can introduce a first time cover for transplantation, for bariatric surgery, for morbidly obese people to control, for a weight reduction. We only show, we have proved to the country that it is no more a cosmetic surgery, it is a metabolic surgery. It is going to help control of diabetes, hypertension, joint diseases and heart diseases. So we are the first to introduce such covers. And in fact, newborn cover, the day one, any vehicle that comes out of the garage is covered in India, whereas the children born, they are not covered from day one.
Correct.
Insurance companies are waiting for a few weeks to see that the child is healthy to cover them. So we have introduced a cover for children from day one. And even for artificial reproduction technique, I can keep on adding. So such an innovative product and a focused and professional claims management, apart from our growth strategies, which my colleague Anandra is going to brief. So all these things are the unique features which have carved out Star from other players in the market.
So we are saying even processes like IVF, IUIs, these are few which are covered under Mediclaim now.
Yeah. You are right. Artificial reproduction technique, evaluation, treatment from IUI, IVF, ICSI, all these things are covered. We are the first to come forward with such a cover because we have a team of experts to do a market research. And the market requires, there are people living with this disease and people who are looking forward to this treatment who want a health insurance cover. So we don't want to restrict ourselves to young people and healthy people and affordable people. We want to design product for all economic strata, for all ages, and for almost all diseases.
Right. So, when you say this, an interesting point that comes to my mind is usually when someone takes an insurance or a Mediclaim, what happens is there's usually a waiting period of a year, 2 years before you start utilizing it on a few of elective surgeries, etc. So are those policies also similar with you?
Yeah, see, as we innovate products and as we wanted to meet the requirements of the common public, we also have to make these products financially viable. So we reach a balance. So there are waiting periods, standard exclusions, and riders, but these are designed according to the product. For example, a waiting period for a pre-existing disease in our policies some of the policies may have 4 years, some of the policies may have only 6 months. So we have designed the products based on the requirement of the public. So they have to study the product features. The individuals, the proposers have to study and identify the right product which can be helpful to cover them or their family members.
Absolutely. So basically, innovative and specialized products is one of the advantages that Star actually has in terms of the product segment. And simultaneously, if you have to actually talk about the other growth strategies as well, what would they look like?
See, our distribution strategy is very, very unique as compared to others because, as Dr. Prakash mentioned, we did not have any partnership to begin with. We were not floated by any large corporate body or any group. We have always been a private equity promoted and professionally managed company. So the distribution has always been focused on retail agency. I think that is the uniqueness of Star Health. We have created a large distribution platform now over the last 15 years, which is unmatched in the entire industry and which is very, very difficult to replicate because it will take a lot of time and effort and money to create this kind of distribution, which we have done over the last 15 years. So the uniqueness of Star Health is being present on the ground at every nook and corner of the country. We are now present not only in the small, towns and cities, but we are now moving into the villages. We have created a separate vertical for rural marketing, and we are now going into the semi-urban and the rural markets so that the benefits of health insurance can be given to those population also. So a very unique distribution strategy backed by a very strong technology platform is what makes us stand out from rest of the other players. And most importantly, you will agree, in health insurance, the factor of trust plays a very important role. It is all about service. It is all about service at the time of a necessity, a claim. And Star Health has been able to make a very, very strong name for itself in the claim services platform, where we have been able to deliver what we promise, that also in time with what the customers expect. And we have been able to grow our business based on that trust.
Right. In fact, another aspect that I was reading about was also that in terms of the gross direct premium, we're looking at a growth of around, say, 18% CAGR over the next 4 years, where again, the dominance will come from the retail business as well, which will be much better than what we saw in the past, couple of years. So is that something which is achievable, or is that going to be a milestone that we're looking to cross?
No, we have always been able to deliver higher than the industry's growth over the very last many years, and even consistently, even in the last 2 years also during the pandemic. Though we are a very large player, our base is very large, as you can imagine. Despite the large base, we are able to grow faster than the industry. And I think that we will be able to grow. Hiral, see what has happened now is after the pandemic, the awareness of health insurance has been created many folds, and
Correct.
now we are seeing demand coming from not the typical, 50 plus or 40 plus segment, but we are seeing a lot of demand coming from the younger age group, people who are 25-year-old, 30-year-old, 35-year-old. They are coming forward to buy health insurance for themselves and their family. Earlier, people used to think that if my corporate is covering me, I don't need to have a insurance of my own. But now recently with the job losses, with the different kind of environment created, even somebody who's working in a corporate group is also buying a personal health insurance now to cover himself and the family. So I think these are the changes that has happened due to the pandemic. And we believe that this will be permanent in nature, so that, the business of health insurance will grow from strength to strength, and Star Health also will be able to capture that opportunity.
Right. So in fact, due to the pandemic, with the demand increasing, I think in proportion to that, the claims have also started to go up. So has that dynamic changed anywhere?
You are right. Pandemic-related claims have definitely gone up. And compared to the previous years, this year, following the second wave of pandemic, we could see most of the hospitals being full and patients being admitted in makeshift centers and hotels. So naturally, that was a very unprecedented state which we have to face, unfortunately, during the peak of the pandemic. But we from Star Health Insurance were able to manage that very effectively. We were able to achieve business continuity. All our operations were happening despite the pandemic, despite our employees also falling sick. We ensured that there is a continuity of business, and we were able to talk to hospitals and help those hospitals to come with a fair pricing arrangement for COVID-19 and services in line with the guidelines or like principles which are dictated by ICMR, WHO or AIMS. So we could help our customers to have the treatment in the appropriate hospital and also as per the guidelines of ICMR and All India Institute. So we could manage this pandemic to our fullest satisfaction. Although, as you rightly said, the number of claims have gone up. We paid around 4 lakh, close to 4,38,000 plus claims, including first wave and second wave. And last year, FY21, we had around 1.81 lakh claims. And this year, close to around 2.5 lakh plus claims. So naturally, that is a very unexpected burden that we have to face. But we don't look at it as an expense. We look at it as an investment.
Right.
Because we are able to tell our customers that we are with you when there is an unprecedented pandemic, and we are going to take care of your healthcare requirements. We are going to see that you get the right treatment, and also we are here to support for the right cost, whatever incurred.
Right. So how is the margin trend looking like, especially basis the product mix that we have?
So because of this one-time COVID impact, the margins have taken a definite negative hit. And we expect that, from the next year onwards, once things come back to normal, we will be back to our regular profitability growth, which we have been able to register prior to the onset of the pandemic.
Okay. And what about on the persistency ratios and the solvency bit?
Oh, the persistency ratios have been maintained. We have been able to retain close to 97% of our premiums as usual. Every year we used to do close to 98, between 95 to 98%. So last year also we were able to do maintain around 97%. This year also the rates are similar. So we are seeing good, strong persistency retention in our existing customer base.
Okay. And in terms of where the mortality reserves are concerned, what is our usual trend in terms of maintaining it, and have we increased that on the back of the pandemic?
Nilesh?
Yeah. So the mortality rates are typically applicable for life insurance companies. For general insurance companies, that is something called as IBNR and IBNR, incurred but not reported, and incurred but not enough reported. So it's done by the appointed actuary of the company, and we have sufficient reserves to take care of any incurred but not reported claims on the every month or every quarter ends.
Right. And overall, if you see in terms of where the industry as a whole goes, any concerns that we see, any policy decisions that we see that the government should be taking to support the sector as a whole?
Yes, I can roughly say that we are all working on profit line amidst lack of standardization of cost and standard operating procedures. And we have a very strong regulator for health insurance companies.
Correct.
But hospitals also should have some type of regulation and standardization. There are good number of hospitals which are trying to do their best and save patients. Even during the pandemic, we'll have to really salute their services. But at the same time, unfortunately, we have also seen instances of frauds and abuse happening. So that makes every insurer to be very watchful.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that every state, every hospital, every specialty, there is some standardization in the cost which needs to be worked out. Undue profiteering in labs and diagnostics, or in pharmacies, or in some of the products where the MRP shows a trade margin of 300-400%. All these things have to be looked into, and we need to address that. This is in the interest of the country. It is not going to help the insured alone. Even for those who don't have an insurance company, this is going to help in future.
Absolutely. In fact, the sector as a whole as well, the penetration has been increasing. So a lot of things that need to start getting into place as well from the government perspective to help the sector, not only from the company perspective, from the people who are taking the insurance as well, and the government policies. Thank you so much, Dr. Prakash, Anand, as well as Nilesh, for joining us on the show. A pleasure to speak to you. Congratulations once again. Good luck for the IPO. Stay safe, and we will speak to you soon again.
Thank you all.
Thank you
so much for having us.
Bye.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.